Kill me! I'm here! Kill me!
Hey everybody, this is Matthew Movers coming at you with my review of RoboCop, the 1987 action movie that I think is very minimized by calling it that. I think this movie really interests me because I think it has such a fascinating story. I remember watching this for the first time as a kid with my dad because I'll be honest, my parents were okay with me watching stuff that was maybe a little bit more mature than a lot of kids my age because I had two older brothers and I just insisted on watching whatever they watched, and over time I proved that I wasn't going to be up all night having nightmares just because they let me. So over time they let me watch more and more, and I was able to watch this movie even though it came out when I was only 5 years old. I saw it probably a year or so afterwards, so maybe I was 7 or, well, maybe, a couple of years afterwards, so I was like 7 or 8, somewhere in that area. And I look back on this film and I remember thinking of it as just like an action movie. And I remember like there being a cartoon and action figures and all that kind of stuff. And this movie was very clearly, in certain regards, marketed towards kids. And I remember as a kid thinking that it was, just a fun movie. And I'm being like, man, I want to be turned into a cyborg RoboCop when I grow up. And then I watched this movie as an adult, I watched it recently, but it's not the first time I've done that. But the first time I watched it as an adult, it'd been probably like, I don't know, 10 years since I'd seen it, because it's a film that I really enjoy, but it's also not one that I have to watch every year or something like that. But I watched it a few years back as an adult for the first time, and I was like, what? This was the movie that they marketed towards kids? I mean, this movie is so much more severe than I remembered it being. I mean, the moment where the guy who becomes RoboCop actually gets killed is mind-boggling. I mean, they just go to war on this guy. They shoot off his arms and his legs, and it's like a torso and then gets shot like crazy. It's mind-boggling. And then there's a guy who gets put in this like acid stuff, and he becomes like a toxic Avenger, creepy, weird creature thing that's going around, and as an adult you're watching and you're like, what? That's supposed to be a person in that thing, and then it gets hit by a car and gets turned to mush, and it's just like, my God. And then there's like so many moments in this movie that are just mind-boggling. I mean, I'll say this, as an adult, I dig the hell out of this movie. I mean, it is, like I said, 100% much more severe than I ever remember it being, but it also has a really great commentary on society and the idea of law enforcement being above the individual rights of people that really plays, and it definitely in today's world, the political spectrum, what's going on in a country that's pretty close to this one, it certainly plays very well in that. And that to me in and of itself is remarkable, because this movie came out in 1987. I mean, it's 30 years old, and the fact that it plays in that regard is fantastic. The fact that it plays as an action movie that somebody could watch and be like, man, that would be so cool to have the abilities of RoboCop. Is super impressive, even though, yeah, I mean, some of the effects have aged, like is always the case. But I think the fact that it plays in both of those regards is amazing, and the fact that it can shock to this day, because unless you've seen this movie a lot and you know exactly what you're in for, I think anybody watching this movie that hasn't seen it in a long time, or definitely hasn't seen it as an adult, would be really blown away by what takes place in this film. And I think the fact that all those things holds true 30 years later is just incredibly impressive, and speaks to the achievement of Paul Verhoeven. Because I mean, there are definitely some great actors in this. Like Peter Weller is always fantastic in everything, and I always remember Nancy Allen from when I was a kid. But really, it's not really an achievement of a group. I mean, in every case, when you see a film, a lot of people come together. But I think this movie, you really got to lay the majority of the credit on Paul Verhoeven's lap, because it's clear that he had a vision. It's clear that he made a movie that was unlike any other that I personally can think of, and definitely they took a stray with the sequels. And to me, there is a good reason why this film needs to be celebrated 30 years after the fact. And I hope that the fact that it is the anniversary of this film's release, means that more people will check it out, because I think it has a lot more relevance than a lot of films that came out that same year, and I think that's something that should be celebrated. So those are my thoughts on RoboCop. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, hit that share button, hit the comments, do all that good stuff, because it's awesome for my channel, and I love talking to people about movies, and anything that you could do to make that possible, that more people will come and subscribe. I mean, if you do a shout out, that'd be awesome. If you do anything that would make that possible, I would be very appreciative, because it really makes my day and makes me so happy to be able to have the back and forth with people who come and check out my videos and hear their thoughts on what I've said, and whether they agree or disagree. It just absolutely is a highlight for me, and would just mean the world to me if anybody watching this could help that out. And if you're new here, please subscribe. Other than that, have yourself a great day.